I'm Ava, the sister who lost everything when my narcissistic sibling Chloe slept with my boyfriend and tore my family apart in Portland. They demanded my inheritance, but my comeback left them stunned. From heartbreak to a revenge that lit up the city, this is how I rebuilt my life. Ever been betrayed by those you loved most? Share your story below, and let's rise together. Portland's autumn rain in 2025 drums on my Pearl District loft, its rhythm blending with the distant hum of the Willamette River and the coffee scent from Powell's Books a block away. I'm Ava, 24, staring at my Cadegard startup's dashboard, its glow a testament to a life I rebuilt from betrayal's rubble. 3 years ago, I was the invisible sister, my heart gutted by my narcissistic sister Chloe, my boyfriend, Noah, and a family who chose them over me. Now, I'm crafting a future they'll never touch, but the scars still whisper. Let me take you back to when I was a shadow in their spotlight, chasing a love I'd never earn. I grew up in a Selwood bungalow, its creaky floors and rose garden a backdrop to a childhood both warm and warped. Chloe, 2 years younger at 22 now, was the golden child, her hazel eyes and quick charm a magnet for Mom's adoration and Dad's dreams. Mom, Linda, a librarian, called her my star, soothing her every whim. Spilled juice at 5 meant hugs. A C in math at 12 got praise. Dad, Tom, a carpenter with weathered hands, saw Chloe as his legacy, a future artist or lawyer to redeem his own stalled dreams. Their love was a stage, and Chloe performed, while I, Ava, was the quiet prop, straight A's, no drama, no spotlight. I didn't need coddling, so I got none, my existence a footnote to Chloe's saga. At 7 I spent weeks building a birdhouse for a school fair, sanding in Dad's garage, dreaming of Mom's smile. It won first place, and I ran home, ribbon clutched, heart soaring. Mom was helping Chloe with a glittery poster, her eyes on her. "That's nice, Ava," she said, barely glancing. Set the table, okay?" Chloe's poster, a mess of glue, got framed. My birdhouse sat in the attic. Dad, fixing a chair, clapped Chloe's shoulder for a D in spelling, saying, "She's got spirit, my A's, invisible, and sign L." The narcissism in Chloe's orbit was clear. She was the sun, and I was a moon, seen only when she needed my light. By 10, I learned to shrink. I'd bike to Tryon Creek State Park, sketching code in a notebook, finding solace in logic while Chloe's dance recitals drew family cheers. At 12, I built a budgeting app on our old PC, hoping Dad would care. He nodded, distracted, then raved about Chloe's grace in a botched performance. Mom's codependency was suffocating, her need to prop Chloe up blinding her to me. "And she's sensitive," she'd say, excusing Chloe's tantrums, while my quiet wins were expected. I internalized it. My worth was in being useful, not loved. Middle school sharpened the divide. At 13 I was at Cleveland Middle, coding in the library, earning a 4.0, while Chloe, a chaotic 11-year-old, disrupted classes, her D's hailed as A potential. When I won a regional science fair at 14 with a water quality app, I thought, this is it. I showed Mom the trophy at dinner, heart pounding. She smiled thinly, stirring soup. "A good job, Ava. Chloe, tell us about your art show." Dad, reading a woodworking magazine, grunted, "Chloe's got flair." My trophy sat on my desk, unmentioned, while Chloe's lumpy painting got a family party. The gaslighting began, subtle but sharp. Mom would say, "You're so independent, Ava. Chloe needs us more," framing my strength as a fault. Dad's rare talks were lectures. "You support your sister, Ava. She's got big dreams." Chloe skipped school, partied at Multnomah Falls, and crashed Mom's old Civic, yet Mom called it an youthful energy. I babysat to buy a laptop, while Chloe got a new phone for trying. The codependency was a loop. Chloe failed. They coddled. She demanded more, her narcissism blooming. High school was a crucible. At Lincoln High, I led the coding club, built apps, and earned a 4.0, while Chloe, a freshman, coasted with C's, her charm enough for Mom's praise. At 16, I won a state coding competition, my app, a transit tracker, featured in the Oregonian. I showed Dad the article, hoping for pride. He glanced up from Chloe's dance schedule. "Nice, Ava. Chloe's recitals tonight. Be there." Mom baked cupcakes for Chloe's effort, while my win got a nod. The learned helplessness settled in. No matter my feats, I'd never outshine Chloe. At 17, I earned a full scholarship to Portland State University's computer science program, my ticket out. I told my parents at breakfast, letter trembling in my hands. Mom looked up from Chloe's detention slip. That's great, Ava. Can you help Chloe with math? Dad nodded, eyes on his coffee. Can you'd figure it out? Chloe, eating cereal, smirked. Bet I'll get one too, sis. My triumph, years of grind, was a whisper next to Chloe's chaos. I vowed I'd build a life they couldn't ignore. I met Noah in 2019, my sophomore year at TSU, at Stumptown Coffee in the Pearl District. I was 20, debugging code, coffee cold, when he slid a latte over, grinning. Ain't coding the Matrix? He teased, his dark eyes warm. Noah, 21, was a barista and music major, his guitar riffs as bold as his laugh. We talked about Portland's drizzle, his love for Nirvana, my encryption projects, until his shift ended, then walked to Lansu Chinese Garden, koi gliding below. He became my haven, meeting me at Powell's Books, strumming chords while I rambled about algorithms. You're enough, Ava, he'd say, his hand in mine, and I believed him. Noah was my first love, a beacon in my gray world. He worked at a Belmont record store, saving for a music career, his passion grounding my dreams. We'd roam the Saturday market, tasting tamales, planning a future, marriage, a Nob Hill loft, a dog named Pixel. I wanted my family to see his spark, but they barely looked. At Thanksgiving 2019, I brought Noah to Selwood, hoping for warmth. Mom smiled stiffly, then fawned over Chloe's boyfriend, Liam, a loud skateboarder. Liam's so talented, Mom gushed, serving him pie. Noah got a nod and passed the gravy. Dad asked Chloe about dance, ignoring Noah's music talk. Chloe's guys were kings. Noah was a stranger. The trauma bond with my family blinded me. I craved their approval, shaped by years of neglect, so I excused their coldness. They're busy, I told Noah at Forest Park, leaves crunching. He frowned, strumming his guitar. Don't see you, Ava. It's not right. His words stung, but I buried them, clinging to hope. Noah and I grew closer, spending nights at Washington Park, his head on my shoulder, stars above. He was my home, and I thought nothing could break us. My cousin Ellie was my lifeline. 3 years older, she lived in Hawthorne, a barista with a sharp wit and a knack for seeing through family nonsense. At 16, she'd spotted Chloe's narcissism, whispering at a family picnic, "Your parents treat her like royalty. It's gross." Her support was a balm, her texts, "You're killing it, Ava," easing my wounds. In 2020, Ellie moved closer, renting a Laurelhurst flat, and we bonded over beers at Cascade Brewing, her tales of bad dates cutting through my family's fog. Ellie met Noah and loved him, calling him a keeper. We'd hang at Multnomah Falls, Ellie joking, "Noah's too cool for you, Ava." When I told her about my scholarship, she cheered louder than my parents, buying me a celebratory coffee. I believed her, her faith countering my learned helplessness. Ellie's presence was a promise, not all family would betray me. In 2021, I graduated TSU with honors, landing a tech internship in the Pearl District. I proposed to Noah at Tom McCall Waterfront Park, the Willamette sparkling. I'd saved for a sapphire ring, his favorite, and knelt, heart thumping. "Own my everything, Noah," I said. "Will you marry me?" he cried, nodding, and we laughed, tangled in joy. It was my peak, a life aligning, love, a career, a future. Mom surprisingly warmed to Noah post-engagement. She called him sweetie, asked about wedding plans, baked cookies for our engagement party at Migration Brewing. Dad, gruff but approving, said, Good choice, Ava." I thought, they're changing. We planned a 2022 wedding at a Mount Tabor venue, intimate but ours. Noah and I scouted venues, tasting cakes at Voodoo Donut, trying on suits in the Pearl, his laughter my anchor. Ellie helped, designing invitations, her humor easing Noah's stress. "And you two are epic," she said, sketching roses. Chloe, meanwhile, was floundering, dropping out of community college, working at a Belmont boutique, still Mom's star. She'd visit our Pearl apartment, oddly attentive, saying, "Missed you, sis." I welcomed her, naive, hoping for family ties. The gaslighting crept in, Mom saying, "Noah seems distracted, Ava. Sure he's ready?" Dad's calls were cautions, "And weddings are big, Ava." "He up for it?" I dismissed them, but the trauma bond kept me tethered, yearning for unity. By late 2021, Noah grew distant, canceling dates, citing homework stress. I blamed wedding plans, trusting his heart. We'd argue, small things, like guest lists, but his silences grew longer. One night at base camp brewing, I pressed him. "What's wrong, Noah?" He sighed, eyes distant. "Just tired, Ava." I nodded, ignoring the chill. Ellie noticed, texting, "Check on Noah." "Something's off. Something's off." I brushed it off, but Chloe's visits increased, her charm dialed up. "You're lucky, sis," she'd say, hugging Noah too long. I saw nothing, my trauma bond blinding me to danger. Mom's gaslighting intensified. "Over coffee at Selwood," she said. "Noah's young, Ava. Marriage is a lot, maybe wait." Dad, at a rare dinner, added, "Chloe says he's overwhelmed." "Listen to her, Chloe." I frowned, but their codependency, trusting Chloe despite her failures, drowned my doubts. I doubled down, planning a perfect wedding, booking a jazz band, crafting vows at Lansu Chinese Garden, Noah's hand in mine, his smile faint but there. In March 2022, a month before the wedding, I was at Noah's Belmont apartment, coding while he showered. His phone buzzed, and something, instinct dread, made me look. I wasn't a snooper, but the buzzing felt wrong. I unlocked it and saw a text from Chloe, "Miss you. Tonight." My heart stopped. I opened the chat and the world collapsed. Flirty messages, let's hook up vibes, months of late-night texts, inside jokes, plans to meet behind my back. I scrolled, hands shaking, seeing my sister and boyfriend betray me. I screenshotted everything, sent them to myself, and left, not waiting for Noah's lies. I drove to Selwood, rage and grief colliding. Chloe was at the kitchen table, scrolling her phone, Mom and Dad nearby. I slammed the screenshots down, voice trembling. "Explain this." Chloe glanced at them, shrugged, narcissistic as ever. "So what? It happened." Mom gasped, but didn't slap her. She froze, codependent instincts kicking in. Dad yelled, "Chloe, how could you?" But his anger faded fast, eyes on Mom. I turned to Mom, tears burning. I turned to Mom, tears burning. "You're a family, Ava. We'll fix this." "Fix?" I laughed, bitter. "She slept with my fiancé." Dad sighed, codependent as ever. "They're in love, Ava. Let it go." "Love?" I faced Chloe, voice steady. "Roar dead to me." She smirked, narcissistic to the core. "I go get over it." I grabbed my bag, told them, "Never contact me," and left, blocking all but my little sister Lily, 11, who wasn't to blame. The trauma bond snapped, leaving me raw but free. Ellie's support held me together. She met me at Hawthorne's Baghdad Theater, her hug fierce. "You're trash, Ava. You're better." We talked for hours, her rage at Chloe matching mine. "She's a narcissist," Ellie said, sipping a stout. "Your parents are her puppets." Her words countered my learned helplessness, reminding me I could fight. Ellie helped me move to a new CU dorm, joking about my nerd lair. "And she'll rise," she said, her faith a spark. But Ellie's loyalty wavered. A month later, at a Laurelhurst cafe, she hesitated, saying, "Aunt Linda called. Chloe's pregnant." I froze. "Coffee bitter?" "Pregnant? With Noah's kid?" Ellie nodded, gaslighting creeping in. The betrayal stung. Ellie, my anchor, softening toward them. I stood, voice cold. "They chose her, Ellie. Don't you start." She texted apologies, but the trauma bond with family was pulling her back, a warning I heeded. The months after were a haze. I lived in my dorm, a ghost, code, class, sleep, repeat. Friends asked about the wedding. I snapped, "It's off," and walled them out. The learned helplessness was a cage. I'd believed I'd never escape Chloe's shadow, that family love was a myth. I deleted Noah's photos, blocked him, burned his mixtape in a dorm sink, smoke stinging my eyes. The void swallowed joy, hope, everything. Aunt Mara, Mom's estranged sister in Eugene, was my lifeline. A potter with a sharp tongue, she'd always seen Chloe's narcissism. She texted, "Heard the mess, Ava. I'm with you." "I'll choke." Her words were a flare, piercing my despair. I dove into coding, spending nights in the computer lab, building apps to mute my pain. Professor Elena Ruiz, my cybersecurity mentor, noticed, her bluntness a gift. "It's your old one shutter ranger side talent, Ava." "Join my research." I nodded, seeking escape, not glory. Elena's lab was salvation. I learned encryption, penetration testing, hacking systems to protect them. It was control, a shield against family chaos. Aunt Mara sent updates. Chloe had Noah's daughter, raising her alone, Noah barely involved. Mom excused her, she's young, finding her way, while Dad blamed bad timing. Their codependency was a vortex, fueling Chloe's narcissism, draining them. I felt no triumph, just distance, my life a new code. In 2023, I met Riley at Cadegard, a Portland cybersecurity startup. He was 26, a wiry coder with a quick laugh and a knack for truth. Over beers at Deschutes Brewery, I spilled my story, raw and halting. That's brutal, Riley said, eyes fierce. And your family's trash, you're more than them. His support cracked my walls, a brotherhood born in late-night coding and Forest Park hikes. Riley's mantra, build your empire, burn the past, fueled me, countering learned helplessness. Riley pushed me to shine. When I hesitated to pitch our threat detection algorithm to Cadegard's CEO, he said, "You're not Chloe's shadow, Ava. Own it?" I did, earning a junior developer role with equity. Riley's Hawthorne apartment became my refuge, his cat, Luna, a purring therapist. "You're rewriting your story," he said, grilling burgers on his balcony. Don't let them edit it." His words with Aunt Mara solidified my boundary formation. By 2024, Cadegard was my world. Our software, guarding banks and tech giants, grew fast, my equity a fortune. I moved to a Pearl District loft, its Pittock mansion view a symbol of my climb. I worked long hours, coding defenses, thriving in chaos. Riley and our team hit Pearl bars, trivia nights a ritual, their laughter my chosen family. I dated sparingly, Noah's betrayal a scar, but found peace in solitude, hiking Multnomah Falls, coding at night. Aunt Mara's updates darkened, Dad's lung issues hospitalized him, bills crushing them. Mom lost her librarian job, stress breaking her. Chloe, 22, worked odd jobs, spending more on Alberta arts parties than she earned. They sold the Selwood house, moving to a Gresham apartment, Chloe mooching. "They're sinking," Aunt Mara wrote, "but it's their bed." I read it at Powell's, book stacks towering, and felt resolve. Their codependency drowned them. I was soaring, my boundaries a shield. In 2025, Cadegard soared. A Wired feature called me Portland's cybersecurity prodigy, my scholarship to startup story inspiring. I traveled, San Francisco, Boston, pitching investors, my name in headlines. I bought a hybrid SUV, upgraded my loft. It's quiet, a sanctuary. Riley toasted me at Washington Park, grinning. "You're a queen, Ava." "Chloe who?" I laughed, the trauma bond fading, my life a canvas I painted. In February 2025, 3 years after I cut ties, my phone rang, an unknown number. I was at Lansu Chinese Garden, koi gliding when I answered, instinct overriding caution. "Don't hang up." I froze, tea bitter. "How'd you get this number?" I asked, voice hard. "Aunt Mara," she lied, a betrayal I'd verify. "We need you, Ava. Please." Her tale was grim. Dad's lungs were failing, hospital stays draining them. They'd sold their car, tapped savings, bailing Chloe out of a $50,000 fashion startup scam. Chloe, 22, was jobless, living with them. A parasite. "We're broke," Mom sobbed. "We're losing everything." I clenched my phone, anger flaring. "Why me?" I said. "Sue chose Chloe, always," she gasped, gaslighting kicking in. We didn't choose Ava, Chloe's trying." I scoffed. "Trying," I scoffed. Her codependency was a chain, her need to save Chloe blinding her to me. She pleaded, "Help us." I stood, garden serene, and spoke, voice steady. "And now, Tremley, you stopped being mine when you took her side. Goodbye." I hung up, hands trembling, and walked to the Willamette, bridges gleaming. The trauma bond tugged, but I severed it, my boundaries ironclad. A month later, Lily called, crying. "Hey, Dad's gone, Ava." My heart sank. Dad, flawed but mine, was dead. Lily, 14, had to tell me. Mom didn't bother. "They didn't want to stress you," Lily said, voice small. "Stress me?" I booked a flight to Portland, rage and grief colliding. I arrived at the Gresham apartment, a battlefield. Mom and Chloe were there, glaring. "Here for the money," Chloe sneered, narcissistic as ever. I ignored her, hugging Lily, my only anchor. My only anchor. The will reading was chaos. Dad left me 50% of his assets, $200,000, a shock. Lily got 30%, Mom 15%, Chloe 5%. Chloe and Noah, now married, exploded. Chongmao, now married, exploded. Chloe screamed, narcissistic entitlement blazing. I've got a kid. Mom, codependent, pleaded, share it, Ava. She needs it. I laughed, cold. She stole my fiancé, Mom, she gets nothing. Noah threatened, you'll regret this. I stood, voice firm. Try me. The boundary formation was my shield, their greed no match. Ellie called, apologetic. Son messed up, Ava. I gave Mom your number. Her betrayal hurt, but I forgave, wary. Chloe escalated, texting from a burner, give up the money or else. I ignored it, but at a Cadegard event in the Pearl, Chloe crashed, drunk, yelling, Ava's a thief. Riley stepped in, voice sharp, get out or I call security. Guests filmed, the video hitting X. Ava's sister tries to ruin her event. Total flop. Memes roasted Chloe's narcissism, Steele's boyfriend, wants inheritance too. Chloe's lies spread. She told family, I abandoned them, painting herself as the victim. Mom gaslit me via email. You're tearing us apart, Ava. I didn't reply, my boundary formation solid. Riley grinned, showing me X comments, Ava's a boss. Chloe's a clown. The internet's wrath was my subtle revenge, no effort needed. In April 2025 I funded Aunt Mara's art show, Unshackled, at a Pearl District gallery by Powell's. My Cadegard wealth covered it, a tribute to her support. The show packed the gallery, Alberta art-style murals outside, fairy lights within. Mara's pottery, raw, bold, sold out, my name tied to her success. I spoke, voice steady. This is for the unseen like me, who built their own light. Guests cheered, some crying, my story resonating. Riley hugged me, grinning. You're unstoppable. Mom and Chloe appeared uninvited, faces gaunt. Eva, Mom said, clutching a flyer, we're proud. Chloe, silent, glared, narcissistic rage simmering. I stared, torn. You chose her, I said, voice firm. Tis isn't yours, Mom cried, gaslighting fading. We were wrong, she whispered. Chloe stormed out, Noah trailing. I let them go, my boundaries clear. Ellie, there to support, apologized again, her loyalty shaky but returning. A guest's video of my speech hit X. Portland's Ava tells truth about family betrayal. #Unshackled it exploded, millions of views, comments empathizing, Ava's my hero. Users dug up Chloe's posts, exposing her lies, boasting about my sister's startup, claiming credit. A thread went viral, Ava's family ditched her, now they want her cash. Chloe's a fraud. Memes roasted Chloe, golden child, all rust. Ellie's old texts, siding with Mom, surfaced, her shame public. Chloe's narcissism flailed. She posted, Ava's lying, we're family. It backfired, users piling on. You stole her man, sis. Mom called, voice shattered. Ava, stop this. It's killing us? I laughed, cold. And didn't start it, Mom. You did, choosing her. I hung up, the gaslighting powerless. My silence was my revenge, subtle but searing, the internet my sword. By May 2025, I stood at Pittock Mansion, Portland sprawling below, reflecting on my arc. Cadegard was global, my loft a sanctuary, my life a masterpiece. Chloe faded, jobless, her ex-posts ignored. Mom struggled, Dad's death breaking her, but I didn't reach out. Aunt Mara thrived, her pottery in galleries. Riley was my brother, Luna my therapy. Ellie rebuilt trust, our coffee dates cautious but warm. Lily, now 14, stayed close, my only family tie. I met Zoe, a Powell's bookseller, in April. Her quiet strength, her love for poetry, eased my scars, were slow, real, dinners at Forest Park a joy. At Saturday market, flowers in hand, I knew. Chloe stole my past, but I stole my future, brighter than her spotlight. My trauma bond was gone, learned helplessness buried, boundary formation my crown.